Hey guys, I'm back and it's soon. This is Yarn Equals Joy episode 8. I'm Rachel or Rachely Book Girl on Instagram and Rachely on Rav. I also have the Joan Mag Bags shop on Etsy, though it's not gotten a lot of love recently because I'm working, I'm a teacher, and I think maybe I'll get back to it this summer. So anyway, I'm here because I have an FO that needs to get sent off and I'd like to share it with you before I put it in the mail. So without further ado, let's go to the FO. That's my dog shaking his little tag and barking. Okay, this is the Amidst shawl that I made, sorry about that I made for my cousin. It's a pattern by Lisa Much of Northbound Knitting, and it is maybe the 5th or 6th version of these that I've actually made. This one is a little larger because my cousin wanted a really big shawl, and this isn't huge, so I added some repeats. I also made this with 2 colors instead of 3, which is what I usually do. It's a really simple pattern. It can be worn, you know, kind of traditional shawl way, or especially because this is a little bigger, can be, you know, kind of cozy around you. I don't think this is my color, even though I like pale yellow. As I've tried this on, I've thought, not so much, but she has very dark hair, and I think this will be gorgeous on her. The other thing, if you remember from the other podcast, she said she found wool scratchy, and so we went through my colors and samples of things, and we came up with this. Yarn Cafe Creations is the brownish color with yellow in it, and then that gorgeous pale yellow is Magpie Fibers in a base I'm not sure they still have, but it is like half silk and half wool, and it's insanely soft, and it just blocked out so beautifully. I sewed one of my little labels on it, not perfectly centered, but I don't think she'll mind. And anyway, so this will go off in the mail as a big birthday present for her. So that's it for FOs, but I wanted to show you. And I do have some whips. I'm not going to show you the northeasterly blanket, although that is still in process, and I love it, and I'm really enjoying knitting it, and I am kind of addicted to getting Koigu yarn right now. God, I hate looking at myself in the camera. This is the perils of podcasting. You have to actually look at yourself. Okay. This is the Helen Stewart Dust of Snow shawl, and mine looks nothing like Dust of Snow. I think hers was done in really light colors, and mine is really brazen and bold. I'm holding a strand of mohair in a fuchsia, and then I'm doing all sorts of other colors. These aren't minis, these are basically skeins that I've had that I just liked, and liked the way they paired with the pink. And I think the nice thing about our patterns is that they say how much progress you've made, and I think I'm about 70%, and this is huge. So I think it's going to be really fun to have. I love this rectangular stole shape, and I also love these colors, which I think are more me. So I don't know, I think this is going to be a really fun thing to have. I think it's going to be great for plane travel. It's going to be great for summer if you just want something to sort of cover your shoulders when you have a sleeveless or short sleeve thing on. And I think it's going to be gorgeous in winter as sort of, you know, a wrap too. So it's just, oh my God, it's so soft with the mohair. I can't even tell you. It's just gorgeous. And I love color, and I love these colors. Yeah, this is it. This is one of my favorite things. Now, it makes me think I will really love the Andrea Mowry pattern, Birds of a Feather shawl. Is that what it's called? Birds of a Feather? I think so. Something feather. I think it's Birds of a Feather. But the difference is that has strands or sections where you're just knitting with a strand of mohair, and I just wasn't enjoying that. I really, really prefer knitting with mohair with something else, and I like that a lot better. So again, I really want the shawl eventually, so maybe I'll pick it up again. The colors I chose are really pretty and I still love them, so maybe I'll pick that up after I finish this and it'll be mohair to mohair. Okay, so the only other WIP I'm going to show, since I'm not showing the blanket and I'm not showing some other things that I have, I was inspired this weekend to go dig way down to find one of my first WIPs. And one of the problems with this WIP was I think I bit off more than I could chew. It was when I was early on with knitting a couple years ago. I mean, it was for those of you who've watched, I had, by the way, thank you for watching if you're out there watching, and thank you for watching for the first time, or thank you for coming back if you've seen me before. Okay, so I knit, you know, I was always crafty as a little kid, and I took actual knitting lessons, you know, at one point around college age, and I knit a little, but I didn't really have a yarn store that I liked or people who knit, and so I never really progressed. And then a couple years ago, my mom died, and I felt the need for something comforting and new, and I don't know exactly. I can't even tell you how it began, but it began, and then I just dove down the rabbit hole. I realized that knitting had completely changed in the years that I hadn't been knitting. And I had a period of time in the middle there where I was felting a lot, and so I would knit these big bags. Maybe I'll show something that I felted one of these days. There's a beautiful laptop case that I made that I'm really proud of. Not that I could repeat it. Again, I am someone who kind of likes creating and winging things, and sometimes they work and sometimes they don't. And the problem is the same thing with cooking. If it works and I don't write it down, it's really impossible to replicate. But anyway, that's another tangent. So when I came back to knitting, I realized that there were podcasts and YouTube videos and Ravelry. What I knew about Ravelry but hadn't really done anything with it, and realized that there was a whole world of stuff out there and people and indie yarn dyers, and I just fell deep. And it's been fun, and here we are. But anyway, this was a pattern in a book. The book is Home and Away by Hannah Fettig. The sweater is called the Rosemont cardigan, and that's a picture of it. It's really pretty, and I don't think it's hard. It was just too massive. The yarn I ordered was this insanely squishy, gigantic Targhee from Blue Moon Fiber. This skein is called Fuchsia Rose, and it is 100% Targhee, and it is 8.5 ounces and 616 yards. So I have 3 of these, which should be plenty. I don't plan on changing skeins and altering skeins, and I don't plan on, and I didn't do a gauge swatch, so I know you're all yelling at the screen, all you who are much more professional than I am, and I don't have very much. I just have this, and I had, you know, maybe like 8 rows or something when I picked it up again, so I just have been knitting on it since yesterday, but it's really soft, and I love the colors, obviously pink. But it's the kind of thing I think I'll get a lot of wear out of at school if I can finish it. So it was a little funny trying to pick this WIP up again, because in some attempt to clean up, the book had gotten separated from the bag, and I have a million knitting books, so I had to actually go and suss out where I put this gorgeous book, and then I was pretty sure this was the book it came from, but then luckily I had Post-it notes and things marking stuff, so when I actually found it, it wasn't all that terrible, but it was still a little bit more of a effort than I thought it was going to be. Okay, so let me just check my notes, sorry. So we've done whips and we've done FOs, or FO singular, sorry. And so it's now time for stashing the joy, and guess what? I don't have any. Not that I haven't ordered things, I've definitely ordered a little and it hasn't come. More actually koi goo to go in that gorgeous blanket. But I also had this surprise huge tax bill. I'm sure some of you can relate, and that kind of put the kibosh on a lot of my yarny fun for a while, unfortunately, which is really sad, but I have tons that you can see and tons that you can't see. So it's not like anyone has to worry about me, but I just love buying yarn. So that was a little sad and a little bit of a shock that I was not expecting. Okay, but we do still have sharing the joy. I didn't do it last week, but I did hear from the person who won. Congratulations, Llama Mama Kayla, and I will get that out to you. I was actually waiting until I could mail this shawl so I could make a one trip to the post office. So I will be doing that, hopefully this week. But I have two very different sharing the joys. So I'll talk about the normal one first. Here it is. It is a really springy skein of early Dragon Horde yarns. She is the daughter of Christy from Yarn Cafe Creations. She's Tristan, and this looks very sort of fun and bright, and it might be something that someone is just hankering for. It's a fluffy sock base, fingering, 75 merino, 25 nylon, 462 yards. The color is a Very Merry Unbirthday, and you can see it's like a minty sort of green turquoisey color with pops of turquoise and purple and pink, and would just be really fun for something, maybe something Stephen West-ish, but whatever you're interested in. That's the first sharing the joy. The second sharing the joy is a different story. So I had a very dear friend, close friend, who passed away. Her name was Sally, and she passed away about a year ago. And Sally was not a knitter, but she was the most supportive friend I've ever had. And one day she drove me out, because I hate to drive, so she drove out with me to Park Avenue Yarns, which is a yarn shop about, I don't know, 45 minutes outside the city, something like that. And it was a beautiful yarn shop. It was a beautiful day, and I walked around, and she's not really, as I said, she wasn't a knitter, she wasn't a yarn person, but her eyes landed on this Woolfolk snow. And Sally was always someone with the best taste, so of course she picked out one of the most expensive yarns in the shop. And about 6 months later, a year later, when she was diagnosed with a horrible form of cancer, I thought that maybe she would have to lose her hair, and I thought that she might really appreciate a cap knit in that yarn. And I called them, ordered it, or went online and ordered it, and it came to me, and it is the softest yarn I probably ever felt. It was very expensive. Anyway, long story short, her illness progressed really quickly. It became clear that a hat was not something that she would want or need, and it just didn't make sense. And I can't bear to finish this hat. So I would like it to go to a new home. Maybe you have a friend who is in need of something really soft. Maybe you are in need of something special and a project that's ready to go. I'm including everything. It's a free pattern. It's from, I'm pretty sure it was a free pattern. It was a hat pattern from Pearl Soho. Just a really simple cap. And I'm sending the pattern. And it's called, I don't even know if it has a name of it. I don't think they even have a name, but it's like a little rolled edge cap. I'm including the needles because the needles are on it, and they are high sharps. And I'm including the extra skein of yarn that I wound up, which is this gorgeous marled Woolfolk Snow. And then there is a skein that's attached to the project, and this is what I've done so far. And you could rip it out, you could start again. Honestly, I can't even tell you how soft this is. It's the most, it feels like 100% cashmere. It's just amazingly soft and would be really comforting and lovely, but I can't do it. So if you feel that that is something you would like, please comment, and in the comment below, just say something about finishing Sally's hat. I'd like to finish Sally's hat, or I know someone for Sally's hat, and I don't have a ton of viewers, so I will take those comments and separately draw a winner of the whole thing. I'm going to, I found this lovely bag, and I'm putting everything in the bag, and I will seal it up, and you will get this whole package with everything you need to do the hat, or you can rip it out and do whatever you want with it. It's not mandatory that you finish the hat. And if you would like to get the Dragon Hoard Yarn spring yarn, just say spring yarn or Dragon Hoard yarn, and I will pull separately for that. So hopefully we'll have two winners, two very different giveaways. But I would like to see these things go to someone who wants them, and in loving memory of Sally, I would like this yarn to go somewhere where someone, you know, will look at it and be happy and love it, because really it is very, very luxurious yarn, and it is the softest hat I think I've ever felt. Okay. Got through that. So my final last thing is Other Joy, and that is a Netflix show which a friend of mine told me about and I got completely hooked on. Warning, it is very dark. So for people who don't like things that are sort of serious or sad, you shouldn't watch this. But it's a British television show. The BBC did it, and they do a wonderful, wonderful job. The acting is amazing. The basic storyline is of a very young, beautiful doctor who finds out her husband, who she loves, has been cheating on her, and she really reveals herself to be pretty crazy, as is he. So it is not a happy show. It is not a show for people who don't like sort of dark topics or people who do bad things. But there's something about the way it was filmed that it just keeps you at the edge of your seat. It is kind of like a Fatal Attraction movie, but it is these TV episodes, and they are riveting. So again, it's well done. It's not everyone's cup of tea, I'm sure, but it's really well done and would be a really, nice Netflix viewing if you like something like that. Nice is the wrong word, but it's good. It's really good. So it's Dr. Foster is the name of it on Netflix, and there are 2 seasons so far, and each season only has like 5 episodes. I think the episodes are an hour long. And I went through it really quickly, and at the end, just like you do with a novel that you love and you don't want to say goodbye to the characters, I was sort of rationing it out, one show after school every day so that I could make it last. I assume that they're going to do season 3 or something. I don't know. It's the kind of show where you keep thinking it has to end because everything's just going to implode and then there's going to be nothing to tell a story about. But they just keep going. So it's very intriguing. It's very well done. And if you want something to sort of, get captivated by, and you don't mind some darkness, this is it. Okay, so it's just another shorty, a short podcast. Hopefully I'll have some more knitting. Maybe I'll have the Dust of Snow shawl done before I podcast again. I don't know. But anyway, happy knitting. April is around the corner tomorrow, so have a great week. Enjoy spring wherever you are and whatever that weather is for you. And until we meet again, happy knitting.